And these are the sovereigns of the land whom the children of Yisrael smote, and whose land they possessed beyond the Yarden towards the sun rising, from the Wadi Arnon to Mount Hermon and all the desert plain eastward. Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon, ruling from Aroer, which is on the bank of the Wadi Arnon, from the middle of that wadi and half Gilad, even as far as the Wadi Yabuk, the border of the children of Ammon. And the desert plain from the sea of Kinneroth eastward, as far as the sea of the Arabah, the Salt Sea, the way to Beth Yeshimoth and southward below the slopes of Pisgah. And the border of Og, sovereign of Bashan, who was of the remnant of the Rephaites, who dwelt at Ashtaroth and at Edrei, and ruled in Mount Hermon and in Sokah and in all Bashan, as far as the border of the Jeshurites and the Maacathites and the half of Gilad, as far as the border of Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon. Moshe the servant of Yahweh and the children of Yisrael had smitten them. And Moshe the servant of Yahweh had given it as a possession to the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to half the tribe of Manasseh. And these are the sovereigns of the land which Yahusha and the children of Yisrael smote beyond the Yarden, on the west, from Baal-Gad in the valley of Lebanon as far as Mount Halak that goes up to Seir, which Yahusha gave to the tribes of Yisrael as a possession according to their divisions. In the mountain country, and in the low country, and in the desert plain, and in the slopes, and in the wilderness, and in the south, the Hittites, the Amorites, and the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Iwites, and the Jebusites. The sovereign of Jericho, 1. The sovereign of Ai, which is beside Bethel, 1. The sovereign of Jerusalem, 1. The sovereign of Hebron, 1. The sovereign of Yarmouth, 1. The sovereign of Lachish, 1. The sovereign of Eglon, 1. The sovereign of Gezer, 1. The sovereign of Debir, 1. The sovereign of Geder, 1. The sovereign of Hormah, 1. The sovereign of Arad, 1. The sovereign of Libnah, 1. The sovereign of Adullam, 1. The sovereign of Makkedah, 1. The sovereign of Bethel, 1. The sovereign of Tappuah, 1. The sovereign of Hepher, 1. The sovereign of Aphek, 1. The sovereign of Sharon, 1. The sovereign of Madden, 1. The sovereign of Hatzor, 1. The sovereign of Shimron Meron, 1. The sovereign of Akshaph, 1. The sovereign of Taanach, 1. The sovereign of Megiddo, 1. The sovereign of Kadesh, 1. The sovereign of Yokneam in Carmel, 1. The sovereign of Dor in the heights of Dor, 1. The sovereign of the nations of Gilgal, 1. The sovereign of Tirzah, 1. 31 sovereigns in all.